Hi, everyone. Whether you're listening on your commute, at your desk, with your second cup of coffee, or just pacing around the living room, I'm truly glad you're here. Get your notebook and pen ready. We're officially on Predictive Question 21, Systems Thinking and the Opportunity Gate. Now, if you've been with us through the first 20 episodes, you know we've covered the core of project management, but today we're expanding into the broader ecosystem. Honestly, I actually spilled a bit of water on my notes just before we hit record. My hands were, a little shaky from the excitement of starting this new series. It's that first day energy, right? Anyway, back to the mission. Early in my career, I was managing a software deployment when a vendor offered us a free upgrade halfway through. I jumped at it immediately. I thought, why not? It's more value for the customer. But does free always mean harmless? And listen, within a week, that free upgrade broke our integration and delayed us by a month. I learned the hard way that an opportunity is just a risk in disguise until it's been through the integrated change control process, the formal procedure used to review, evaluate, and approve changes before they hit the project baseline. Okay, today we're looking at that exact dynamic, how to handle a golden opportunity that drops into your lap. Our objective is to analyze why systems thinking requires us to look at the big picture before we touch our project's baseline. Just remember our first mantra for this series, analysis before action, every single time. In this episode, you will learn how to handle these systemic opportunities with absolute professional integrity. But before we step into the scenario, let's map out exactly what we need to cover today. Now, look right here at the screen with me. Look at these 4 columns on the board. This is our roadmap for episode 21. Column A, systems thinking, understanding that your project is part of a larger interconnected ecosystem. Column B, integrated change control, why even positive changes must be formally evaluated. Think of it this way. If systems thinking is your radar to spot opportunities, integrated change control is your shield to protect the baseline. Column C, impact analysis. Digging deep into how an opportunity affects the baseline. And column D, the opportunity mindset. Learning to differentiate between value and distraction. Let's step into the scenario. I want you to pause whatever else you're doing right now. Let's read the scenario together on the screen. It says, you are managing a customer portal project when the PM of an internal training platform offers to provide free training videos to use as tutorials for your portal. While this presents a valuable opportunity, you know that any additions must be carefully evaluated to protect your project's baseline. Now, it sounds like a massive win, right? It's free content. But wait. On the exam, never treat an opportunity as an automatic yes. Treat it exactly like a risk. It must be documented and analyzed before implementation. And here is the prompt. According to standard project management principles, what should be your required immediate action as the project manager? Take a moment. Look at these options. Option A, include the additional content in our project immediately. Option B, inform the other PM that this idea is outside your current scope and suggest they pursue it independently. Option C, submit a change request to evaluate the impact of incorporating the videos. Or option D, hold a joint meeting with the project sponsor to reallocate resources and adjust priorities. Take a moment, choose the right option, and write it in the comments section below, explaining why you chose it. Think about the systems thinking mindset. The clock starts now, and when we come back, I'm going to expose the most common trap candidates fall into on this exact question. All right, time's up. Let's dive right into the analysis. Let's start by looking at option A. I mean, it's tempting, right, to include the additional content in our project immediately. But lean in for a second, no distractions. Let's look at the board together. This is the textbook definition of scope creep, the uncontrolled expansion of project scope without adjustments to time, cost, and resources. Remember the rigorous performance metrics from episode 11? Scope creep will absolutely shatter your SPI and CPI, your schedule performance index and cost performance index, which measure your actual efficiency against the baseline. Many candidates fall into the value trap, believing that if a change adds value, it doesn't need a process. If an exam option suggests adding it in just because the customer will love it, but it skips formal integrated change control, it is a distractor. It is always the wrong answer. That is a massive misconception. In a high-rigor environment, every change, even a positive one, must be evaluated. After all, can you truly protect your baseline if you're letting undocumented changes slip through the back door? If you just add it in, you're bypassing the formal integrated change control process we mastered in episode 13. So option A is a firm no for a professional PM. But if we can't just take the free value, does that mean we just turn it away completely? Let's look at option B. Option B suggests we inform the other PM that this idea is outside your current scope and suggests they pursue it independently. It's basically saying, not my problem. You're telling the other PM to go away. Now look, while this protects your scope, it fails the systems thinking test. On the exam, project managers must maintain an awareness of the interactions between systems. If this other project's deliverables can benefit yours, you shouldn't just, ignore it. A common misunderstanding is that strict scope management means isolating your project from the rest of the company. That's a silo mentality, and PMI wants you to think as a systemic leader. In episode 18, we talked about removing friction with stakeholders, but here the failure is ignoring synergy. Are we just building isolated islands, or are we part of a larger organizational ecosystem? Rejecting synergy without even looking at it is a lost opportunity. But is there a more sophisticated way to capture this value without breaking the rules? We're about to find out. So let's look at option C. Submit a change request to evaluate the impact of incorporating the videos. See, this initiates the formal governance process. The logic here is that you don't know the impact yet. Will hosting these videos require more server capacity? Will it require new UI design? How can you commit to a change without knowing its true ripple effect? By submitting a change request, you trigger a formal, mandatory evaluation of your scope, timeline, and budget. It enforces integrated change control. You're not saying no, but you're not saying yes until the change control board, the designated group of stakeholders responsible for approving or rejecting changes, has reviewed the data. It is the exact mechanism that protects the baseline while remaining open to systemic value. But is this the required immediate action, or just a bureaucratic roadblock that kills momentum? Hold that thought as we evaluate the final option. Finally, option D suggests we hold a joint meeting with the project sponsor to reallocate resources and adjust priorities. Well, this is just jumping the gun. You're trying to solve the problem before you've even defined the impact. Honestly, until you've performed a formal impact analysis, you don't have anything to show the sponsor. Side note, I once called an emergency sponsor meeting with zero data, and the sponsor literally just stared at me and asked, "What exactly do you want me to do about this?" It was a painful lesson in preparation. Remember, the sponsor's authority, as established in the project charter back in episode 15, which is the document that formally authorizes the project, is for making strategic decisions based on data, not for brainstorming unanalyzed problems. A major point of confusion for new PMs is thinking that the sponsor is there to solve the project's daily problems. Why hold a meeting to reallocate resources when you haven't even measured what needs to be moved? You'd be walking into that meeting with zero data. On the exam, never escalate to the sponsor or request more resources as your very first step. Always look for the analyze or evaluate step before you look for the escalate or reallocate step. So option D is a maybe for later, but it's definitely not the first step. 4 options, but only one clear path. I have the verdict locked in, but the real question is, did you fall into the trap, or did you survive the scenario? Let's reveal the truth. The analysis is complete. Now, before I reveal the final analytical path, I want to hear from you. Listen to me closely. Yes, right through those speakers. I'm going to lean in here. You've seen the terrain. You've heard the technical walkthroughs. Which option are you committing to right now? Go down to the comments section below, write your chosen option and its rationale. I'm about to reveal the answer that separates the amateurs from the certified professionals. Ready? The correct answer is option C, as you see highlighted in green on the screen. The PMI mindset focuses on systems thinking. This is the principle that project teams should recognize that their projects are part of a larger interconnected system of value. You see, by using the integrated change process, you bridge the gap between your project and the rest of the organization. Remember, analysis before action every single time. You cannot protect your baseline if you're making impulsive decisions, even for good opportunities. After all, what good is delivering a shiny new feature if it causes your core deliverables to crash and burn? This brings us full circle to the definition of stewardship from the 7th edition. A PM is a steward of the organization's resources, and that means following the rules of governance to ensure every change adds real, verified value. Just like we learned when developing the project management plan in episode 14, you cannot protect your baseline without rigid, integrated governance. Let's summarize the final principles. So, let's bring it all together. Look back at our recap points on the screen. Point 1. Including changes immediately is scope creep and falling directly into the value trap. Point 2. Ignoring opportunities entirely is a failure of systems thinking and internal synergy. Point 3. Jumping straight to the sponsor is an abdication of analytical responsibility. And finally, point 4. The professional path is always integrated change control. Makes sense, right? This is your leadership gate, analysis before action. Remember, integrated change control is your shield, and systems thinking is your radar. Absolute data before decisions, every single time. And with those principles locked in, we've successfully navigated the opportunity gate. Excellent work today. Pat yourself on the back. You've shown that leadership's about the discipline to follow formal change control protocols, the systemic backbone of project governance, right? Remember the technical journey we mapped together in episode 2. Maintaining governance is your gateway to success. Before you go, just remember our core rule from today. Analysis before action, every single time. Systems thinking is your radar, and integrated change control is your shield. I'm proud of your commitment today. In episode 22, we're going to examine how to choose the right development approach for a mobile app. It's a classic hybrid challenge. I'll see you right there.